During World War II, the Nazis pulled off the biggest art heist in history. They stole 600,000 masterpieces and hid them in vaults beneath the Austrian Alps. They were so valuable that insuring them today would bankrupt a small country. But here's what's even more shocking. The most valuable vaults aren't in some underground bunker. They're inside of you, inside of me, inside of every creative person on this planet. Billions of locked vaults overflowing with masterpieces that no one has ever seen. Paintings that could move us to tears, and stories that can change how we see the world. Songs that could heal a broken heart. And here's the thought that keeps me up at night. If you never unlock your vault, you will take your best ideas to the grave. And most creators do. I'm Dwayne Walker, and I spent years researching creativity, painters, poets, musicians, filmmakers, you name it, across every domain, genre, and movement, trying to figure out why most artists die without ever showing the world what they're capable of. And what I found completely caught me off guard. I was expecting it to be our fear of failure, or our fear of getting criticized, or even our fear of rejection. But it turns out that we're terrified of our own potential. And this goes against everything that we've been taught about creativity. Most people think that artists fear not being good enough, but the fear is darker. It's what if I actually am as great as I think I could be? And when I discovered this fear, I recognized it immediately because I had it too. But once I learned how to unlock my vault, everything changed. I built an online education company for kids and landed on Shark Tank. I wrote and published a book about creativity. I even proposed to my wife with an entire art show, and still, my best work is yet to come. Look, if you care about bringing your best ideas to life, I really care, stick with me and I'll share 4 powerful keys to unlock your creative potential. Let's get started. The first key is that you need to kill your fantasies. You see, when you're afraid of failure or criticism, you can blame external things, bad timing, the wrong audience, the state of the world. But when you're afraid of your own potential, it feels even more terrifying, because potential means responsibility. It means you can't hide behind excuses anymore, and it causes artistic paranoia. Franz Kafka burned 90% of his work. Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird and then spent 55 years refusing to publish another novel. Basquiat destroyed paintings the night before gallery openings. All because when you realize that you have the power to move people, to change minds, to create something that outlives your own life, suddenly the stakes feel impossibly high. And so artists tend to sabotage themselves. We quit projects right before the finish line. We tell ourselves that we're not ready yet for years, because it's safer to dream about potential than to unlock your vault. But here's what I learned about the artists who actually changed the world. They killed their fantasies to birth their realities. Miles Davis didn't hold back when he created Kind of Blue. He risked his entire reputation on a new sound that nobody asked for. Beeple created digital art every single day for 13 years, then turned it into a $69 million NFT that redefined what digital art could be worth. Beyoncé threw out the traditional playbook and dropped a surprise visual album with zero promotion, a move that could have killed her career, but instead it changed the entire music industry. Jordan Peele walked away from comedy to make Get Out and earned an Oscar while rewriting the rules of horror. Even Maya Angelou once said, "There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." The artists who left their mark understood one truth. It's better to risk everything and create something flawed than to risk nothing and create something safe. So to start, begin by telling the truth. Sit down with a journal and ask yourself, what am I not creating because I'm afraid it might actually be great? What project have I been preparing for months without ever starting? What would I make if I knew, absolutely knew, that it would succeed? You've just named your fantasy. Now commit to killing it by turning it into a reality. By the way, if you want all my notes on creativity from over the years, all my best insights, I'll leave a link in the description of this video. The second key is that you hold the power. Artists tend to wait for permission from everyone. Permission from family to spend time on impractical art, from peers to attempt something ambitious, from the art world to tackle serious subjects, and even from their audience to evolve. But the brutal truth is that permission is never coming. When Basquiat started painting, the art world told him that he wasn't real enough, that he was too raw, too street, too black. When Monet painted Impression Sunrise, it was mocked as unfinished, but it ended up forming the entire Impressionism movement. When Issa Rae launched Awkward Black Girl on YouTube, every network passed on her idea. She made it herself, built an online audience, and proved them all wrong. These creators gave themselves permission to disappoint everyone in service of their art. The permission you're waiting for can only come from one person, and that person is you. And when I noticed that about myself, I was terrified because it meant that I couldn't hide behind excuses anymore. I couldn't blame my friends for not understanding. I couldn't blame the industry for not opening their doors. I couldn't blame my circumstances for holding me back. When you give yourself permission, you become responsible for your own creative destiny. And it's scary, but it's powerful because it means that you already have everything you need to start. You don't need a gallery to validate your paintings. You don't need a record deal to make music. You don't need a publisher to write your story. And so here's how you can give yourself permission. First, identify what you're actually waiting for permission to do. Write it down. Be specific. Like, I'm waiting for permission to make videos about creativity, to write about my weirdest ideas, to make art that doesn't sell. And then ask yourself, who exactly are you waiting to get this permission from? Is it your parents? Your partner? Some imaginary art critic? You slowly start to realize that those people don't get to decide what you create. They never did. Your vision isn't calling your family or your friends. Your vision is calling you. Now that takes us to the third key. The third key is that you need to build courage, not talent. Here's where it gets really dark. After years of creating work that's below your true potential, something terrible happens. You start to believe that where you are is actually your best. Your standards slowly lower to match your output. Your big vision starts to fade. You develop a psychological dependency on creating work that's good enough to feel productive, but not so ambitious that it threatens your self-image. It took me years to understand that the distance between where I am and my goals isn't talent, it's courage. The courage to attempt something that might not work. The courage to risk creating something terrible in pursuit of something transcendent. Anais Nin once beautifully said, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." Today's your day to blossom. And you can do that with my 4-step process on building courage. Step 1 is to give yourself permission to fail spectacularly. Not just fail, but fail big and fail in a way that teaches you something. Step 2 is to stop measuring success by how much you create and start measuring it by how much you grow. One extraordinary piece that pushes your boundaries is worth way more than creating 10 safe pieces. Step three is to find your obsession edge. Like, what idea keeps coming back to you? What project feels too ambitious, too weird, too personal? That's where your best work is hiding. And the last step is to build a practice around courage, not comfort. Every day, do something in your creative work that feels risky until risky feels normal. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You don't need more validation. You just need the courage to trust that what's inside of you is already good enough. Real quick, I know this is a lot to take in, but if you're serious about unlocking your creative potential, I made a free 30-day course to help you finally create the best work that's inside of you. That way, you're not just learning everything here, you're actually implementing it into your life. It's easy to join. Just tap the link in the description of this video, drop your email, and every morning I'm going to email you one powerful lesson with one simple assignment. And I promise you that it's not like anything you've ever tried before. And it might just change your life like it changed mine. All right. So here's the fourth and final key, the exercise that changed everything for me. You have to make your potential mortal. Imagine you're 90 years old on your deathbed, looking back on your artistic life. Write a letter from your 90-year-old self to the version of you watching this right now. And in that letter, describe the work that you regret never making. Describe the risks that you were scared to take. Describe the masterpiece that stayed locked inside of you. And then read it out loud to yourself. Feel that regret. Then decide if you can live with it. And if you can't, then you have to stop treating your creative potential like it's going to last forever. We don't have infinite time. We don't have infinite chances. Our best ideas will die with us if we don't use them. So unlock your vault right now. Not someday when you're more skilled or more confident or more prepared. Right now. Because your potential is screaming at you. It's been screaming at you for years. It knows what you're capable of and is furious that you keep ignoring it. So stop. Stop protecting it. Stop preserving it. Stop waiting for permission. Spend every ounce of your potential on the work that terrifies you the most. Unlock your vault before it's too late.